Hey there! Welcome to a Waiting in the Sky Pokemon Challenge with me, TJ Starman. This is the second ever challenge video on the channel, and after a trek through the Kanto region in the debut episode, I'm making the natural progression into the Johto region as I play through Pokemon HeartGold with only flying type Pokemon, as determined by a spin of the wheel at the end of the last video. So how's this all going down? Well, my rules for this challenge are as follows. 1. I am only able to catch the first flying type encounter in a particular area or route. 2. My Pokemon's levels are limited to that of the highest level Pokemon in the next gym leader battle, or the Elite Four. 3. No use of items in battle with the exception of held items. And 4. Any Pokemon that faints must be released back into the wild. However, if I lose a battle outright, I do reserve the right to reload a save and try again. Think of this as the best case possible clause that allows me to show you all a successful run as often as possible. But without further ado, let's get into it. I start a new game before being hilariously insulted by this children's game info screen.
I know more than you.
All right.
That brings back our boy Sammy Oak, who I greet like an old friend. That's right, since we're going to be a trainer with a mastery of the skies, Maverick seems a fitting name for this run. Also, I honestly just have Top Gun on my brain since I am starting outlining this challenge right as Top Gun Maverick came out.
Watch the birdie. Jeez, I cracked myself up.
Check out the review on our channel for more thoughts on that one. Anyway, I head over to Elm's lab and surprise, he offers me one of 3 Pokemon to take with me on an errand for him. The iconic 3 choices are, of course, Chikorita, Totodile, and Zubat. Oh, did I catch you off guard there? That's right. Through the magic of the Universal Pokemon Randomizer, I was able to replace Cyndaquil in this run with Zubat, who not only fits our flying typing, but is also normally available early on and has a 3-stage evolution with Crobat, notably evolving through friendship. Seems fitting for our starter Pokemon here. So I pick Zubat and I rush outside. Oh, sorry, that's right. I named Zubat Bruce because, well, he's a bat and, I'm Batman. Bruce's sassy nature gives him increased special defense and lower speed, and he has the ability Inner Focus to prevent flinching. Damn, maybe I should have named him Kobe.
That doesn't make any sense to me, unless he thinks he can entice Kobe Bryant.
I head back to Elm's lab, but I'm intercepted by the first rival battle of the run. I leveled Bruce up to 9 where he learned Astonish, just in case the combo of Leech Life and Supersonic weren't enough. But with a 4-level advantage against my rival's Totodile, Astonish wasn't even necessary, as Bruce handled him easily. The stranger dashes off, but not before I caught a glimpse at his ID and learned his name. Back at the lab, I briefly became a suspect in a burglary investigation before clearing my name by assigning one to my rival, Iceman. Calling back to a worthy cinematic rivalry.
Nice, man.
The cop leaves to chase Iceman, leaving me alone to try and comfort the freshly burgled Professor Elm. He then suggests I take on the gym challenge, a thought that had never even crossed my mind until that very moment. So I say what the heck and head back out toward Violet City, now armed with a few Pokeballs to expand my team courtesy of Lyra. It doesn't take long for me to find a suitable candidate, as I encounter a wild Hoot right away. I catch it and name her Night Owl, a worthy partner to Bruce, and I'm sure that she is happy to be on this journey to possible death. So apparently I've traumatized Night Owl, but that's okay because her insomnia ability may actually prove beneficial down the line. She also has a lax nature that increases her defense and lowers her special defense. My next encounters are just past Cherry Grove, where I can catch a Pidgey and either a Caterpie or Metapod. The catch here... the catch... Get it? Yeah, you get it. Anyway, the catch here is that these encounters are only available during the daytime. Fortunately, I carry a spare ocarina for just this kind of situation. The sun is now shining, which allows me to find and catch a Caterpie that I name Bye Bye. I'll share some more about her when she qualifies to participate on my team. Before I can find a Pidgey, I find the notorious youngster Joey, who insists on exchanging phone numbers after I whoop his Rattata. Surely I won't regret that decision. Speaking of decisions I won't regret, as I continue toward my next encounter, I get a call from Mom offering a crucial financial decision when I was reminded of the words of the great prophets Lil Dicky and Fetty Wap, who once said, Naturally, I took that advice and finally run into a wild Pidgey on Route 31. I quickly catch it and keep the name she was already going by in the wild, Pudge.
Madge.
I thought your name was Pudge.
No, it's always been Madge.
Okay, well, I already typed it, so it's definitely Pudge now. Pudge has the Keen Eye ability, which prevents accuracy loss, and has a quiet nature that raises special attack and lowers speed. Cool. With 4 Pokemon in my party, I can train them up closer to the level cap of 13 as I run through Sprout Tower. Along the way, Bye-Bye evolves into a beautiful Butterfree, destined to one day leave me.
This is a great Butterfree, so take care of it for me.
For now though, Bye-Bye gives us a team of 4 flying-type Pokemon to take on Faulkner and his measly 2 birds. Bye-Bye has the Compound Eyes ability for boosted accuracy and a sassy nature, raising special defense at the expense of speed. Man, this team is like allergic to speed or something. I was gearing up to battle Faulkner for my first gym badge when I got a call from a new friend. Hey, what's up, Joey? Oh, how's your
Joey doesn't share food!
So here's where we stand going into the first gym. I may have the numbers advantage, but I leveled everyone to the cap anyway, just in case. Without further ado, Bruce and the Birds of Prey go into battle. Bruce makes easy work of Pidgey with his newly learned bite. Pidgeotto is a slightly bigger challenge though, illegal level 13 and all, so I switch into Night Owl to put it to sleep with Hypnosis before switching in Bye-Bye, who hits a couple of confusions, and then a Poison Powder. Once it's woken up, to spell the end. Bruce switches back in to watch Pidgeotto fall and earn us our first Johto badge, the Zephyr badge. Much like Misty and Kanto, I've now bested the gym leader of the same specialty as my team in back-to-back challenges. Roost is a great prize too, but I'll hold on to it for now before deciding on a suitable candidate to learn it later on. Upon leaving the gym, Elm calls to say he hates the egg I gave him, so I should take it back, and I begrudgingly agree.
Can I offer you a nice egg in this trying time?
I run a few laps until the egg hatches into the legend that is Togepi. Togepi will one day evolve into a flying type through happiness, but for now, I name him Scramble, and let him hang out in the party to get progress towards evolving.
Better scramble like an egg before you get folded like an omelet.
Elm somehow catches word of the egg hatching though, and he calls me back to the lab to give me an Everstone, an item that stops evolution, literally the opposite of what I want for Scramble. With my team now at 4.5, I trek onward. I'll note here that it's possible to get an old amber item by rock smashing rocks in the ruins of Alph. This can be used to resurrect the fearsome Aerodactyl, a speedy rock flying type. In the interest of time and entertainment value though, I've allowed myself a few items that are normally time consuming or impossible to get in a single copy of the game. This includes the old amber, as well as a couple of evolution items that I'll mention later on. You may hear that and say, this isn't the Pokemon challenge I thought I would be watching, but trust me, it's better. I won't be able to revive the fossil Pokemon for some time though, so I continue through Route 32, and I name my newly caught Hoppip Dandy.
A dandelion. Must be the last one of the season.
And he's pretty unremarkable at the moment. Fairly useless Leaf Guard ability and a neutral, quirky nature. It'll be nice to have a grass type on board though for the rival battles to come. After emerging from Union Cave, I have access to another new Pokemon. I catch a Spearow on Route 33 and name her Edge, in hopes that she'll be able to make an impact. Oh my god, Spearow by Edge! Edge, somewhat ironically to wrestling fans, has a hard-eat nature, but despite the name, it's neutral and it has the Keen Eye ability we've already seen. Edge will hang out in the PC for now as we've got a full party and our normal flying type is covered with 3 of our current evolutionary lines.
Triples makes it safe. Now, triples is best.
I overhear a Team Rocket dude talking about how they used to be cool over in Kanto until a trainer using only water type Pokemon whipped them before I wind up in Azalea Town and proceed to... Damn it, Joey's calling again. Yeah. Hey Joey. Oh yeah. Pidgeys can be hard to catch, better luck next time. Hey, sir, can I ask you some advice?
Yeah, I got this friend named Joey Jojo Jr. Shabadoo.
That's the worst name I ever heard.
Hey, Joey Jojo!
Anyway, I proceed to the Slowpoke well to stop Team Rocket's scheme to get rich quick with hold on, wait a sec. Slowpoke Tails. Old Man Kurt's back heals afterward, and he agrees to craft Pokeballs for me, which is cool, I guess. But with that detour out of the way, I can take on Bugsy's gym. With Bugsy having a team of, well, bugs, this puts us at a pretty good advantage. However, his Scyther is no joke. I try and set up with Night Owl using Reflect and Hypnosis, but Night Owl's peck is nothing compared to Scyther's quick attack. This leads to some switching, with Bye-Bye eventually poisoning Scyther, leading to its demise. This brings up Metapod, and although it is able to cure its poison using its ability, it ultimately doesn't matter, as both Metapod and Kakuna go down to just one hit each. This brings me to my next challenge, another run-in with Iceman. Iceman is surprised to hear I took down Team Rocket, so he challenges me to a battle. This was a mistake. I send out Bye-Bye, who takes out Ghastly with a single confusion, then Zubat goes down to just 2 confusions after missing a Supersonic. Finally, Iceman sends out his now evolved starter, Croconaw, and I counter with Dandy. Dandy hits a Stun Spore to paralyze Croconaw after taking a big hit from Bite. Now able to outspeed, I switch to Bullet Seed with Stab, Super Effectiveness, and Miracle Seed boost. Unfortunately, Bullet Seed is a very low damage move, and it took Croconaw inexplicably using Scary Face repeatedly to allow Dandy the solo victory. Iceman, after losing, immediately declares that he hates losers.
I hate myself.
With another successful battle under my belt, I can cut through Elix Forest on my way to Goldenrod. That joke is funny because you literally have to use the HM for cut to get there. The woodcutter dudes liked it so much they gave me some charcoal, the fire equivalent of Miracle Seed. Along the way, Dandy reaches level 18 and evolves into Skiploom, my first evolution of the run. Well, you know, besides the whole evolutionary line of Butterfree. I'm happy to have all the upgrades possible for a battle against Whitney and her infamous Miltank. Also notable is the daycare couple, who are apparently Lyra's grandparents, giving the two of us the talk about the birds and the Beedrills. Speaking of birds, Pudge reaches the Pokemon version of puberty and evolves into Pudgeotto, further strengthening our team. But evolution is not the only way we can improve our team in Goldenrod. We now have access to another eventual flying type in the form of Dratini. Dratini can be purchased by exchanging coins in the game corner. I'd like to tell you I spent hours playing Voltorb Flip to earn those coins, but that honestly just wasn't very practical. So another helpful code nets us 50,000 coins that I use on Dratini, as well as a few items and TMs that may be useful later on. I don't have the option of naming Dratini just yet, but if I go further north, I can find the name raider. I originally named Dratini Elf, but that didn't seem right, so I made a more fitting change.
Greet me, not as Elf, but as Dova.
Now that she has a name, we can also note Dova's, naughty nature that will grant increased attack and decrease special defense. Continuing my Goldenrod to-do list, I take Bruce to the underground for a friendliness increasing haircut. Now, we only get a flash of white and not an actual cutscene here, but it probably went something like this. Okay, so I underestimated how much crap I can do at this point, so rapid fire on the last few errands. I take a quiz to get the radio card and send Whitney to wait for me at her gym, stop into the department store and purchase a number of helpful items including some heavy-hitting TMs, and then I got a free bike sponsorship because I'm apparently an influencer now. The time has finally come for Whitney. I head into this gym battle with 5 usable Pokemon, all at the level cap of 19. Bruce, Pudge, Bye-Bye, Dandy, and Night Owl, with Dova along for the ride. I start off with Bye-Bye against Clefairy. I go for the poison powder right away to put it on a clock. Then I start gusting as Whitney rolls the dice with Metronome. Both end up being good strategies though, as Clefairy somehow pulls out a Volt Tackle to destroy Bye-Bye before fainting to poison. Honestly, I guess I deserved this for naming her that. There's no time to mourn though, as I now shift to Night Owl to set up Reflect against Miltank. I then use Hypnosis to put it to sleep, but take a hit down to critical health as its Lumberry wakes Miltank up immediately. I switch to Pudge and hit a max 5 sand attacks to lower Miltank's accuracy on its stomps and rollouts, before sending in Dandy for the poison powder. I then try and make things go from bad to terrible for Miltank by using Bruce to confuse it. Finally, I'm able to finish it off with a couple of newly taught solar beams from Dandy. Cue Whitney crying before eventually handing over the incredibly creative plain badge. We can now move on further into Johto, but first we need to release our fallen Pokemon. We head to the PC and say,
Bye-bye, Butterfree!
Fortunately, we don't have to wait long to find another bug flying type, as we can catch a Yanma on the very next route. Though it is only a 1% encounter. Fortunately, it doesn't take too long before I see one. After failing with a fastball, I am able to catch in a Premier Ball. I name him Sparks.
I see you, my little glowing friend.
Seeing and catching are two different things, a big boy.
Sparks has a careful nature, giving him increased special defense at the cost of special attack. And since we're looking for flying bugs to fill the Butterfree shaped hole in my heart, why don't we find our next encounter in the national park? During the bug catching contest, there's a 5% chance to encounter Scyther. I do, and I'm able to secure it in one of the provided sport balls. Scyther proves to be a winner, netting me first place and a Sunstone. I then name Scyther Grim.
My name is Grimmy, and I've come to reap your immortal soul.
His modest nature gives him a boost to special attack and a hit to attack. With Yanma having access to an evolution in Gen 4, I decided to roll with Sparks on our team with Grim as backup for now. We trek onward to Ekritique. Before heading to the Burn Tower for our next battle with Iceman though, we can do some leveling up to get some significant evolutionary upgrades. In total, our team sees 4 evolutions. Bruce evolves into Golbat at level 22. Scramble evolves into Togetic through Friendship with some help from the Soothe Bell, and then into Togekiss with a shiny stone that was magically in my bag. Finally, Night Owl evolves into Noctowl at level 20. With our team just under the level cap across the board, I go say hi to an old red-headed friend. He leads with Ghastly, who I can take out easily with Scramble's extra sensory. Next comes in Magnemite, who is becoming more and more of a threat as this run goes on. Dandy hits him with Leech Seed before I go into Bruce. Both Dandy and Bruce end up paralyzed, but Bruce is able to finish the job. Next comes Croconaw, and you might think this is an easy out for Dandy, but he's now learned Ice Fang, which is a 4 times effective move on Dandy in particular, and 2 times for everyone else on our team. With that in mind, I choose Night Owl and put him to sleep. This allows me to switch back to Bruce for a Confuse Ray. He wakes up, so back to Night Owl we go and hit Hypnosis again. At this point, I'm worried about dealing enough damage, so I bite the Bullet Seed and send out Dandy. My worst fears come into reality when, after charging up Solar Beam, Dandy takes a hit from Ice Fang. But we hang on with 8 HP. We then break through Paralysis and 1 hit with Solar Beam. Finally, his Zubat is another easy 1 hit with Scramble's extra sensory. With that out of the way, next is Morty's Ghost Gym. This gym can be tough, but honestly, it really wasn't this time around. With my team all at level 25, I was able to burn through Morty's Ghost with a combination of just Bruce, Night Owl, and Dandy. Bruce using Bite took out Ghastly and both Haunters, while Dandy's Leech Seed and Night Owl's Hypnosis and Confusion overpowered Gengar. We now have 4 badges, and it's time to journey out to the water next. On Route 38, we can find a new addition to our group of flyers, but before I can find a Farfetch, Bruce solidifies our bond by evolving into Crobat. I knew I picked a great starter option. After that though, I do find Farfetch'd, and with some creative nameplay, I name her Donald. Her naive nature gives her increased speed and decreased special defense. After getting the HMs for Surf and Strength, I can also access a secret little patch of grass in the Ruins of Alph, where I can find a Natu. I name her Aku Aku, and as a psychic flying type, I decide she will be a better long-term fit for the team than Night Owl, and decide to keep her in our party going forward. Praise be to Aku Aku. Also by Surf, I can catch my first water type, a Mantine. Naturally, I name him Man Ray has an impish nature that boosts defense and reduces special attack. We're starting to get some diverse typing in our party now. Before our next gym battle, we have to cross the water to Cyanwood and battle against Yucine, the Suicune obsessed dude. In that stretch, we also see Dandy evolve into its final stage, Jumpluff. With the team at the level cap of 31, I challenge Chuck, whose fighting type specialty puts him at an obvious disadvantage. The battle goes about as you'd expect, with Bruce easily taking out Primeape with Air Cutter and Wing Attack, before Dandy can take out Poliwrath with a triple threat of Leech Seed, Poison Powder, and Mega Drain, while he repeatedly missed Hypnosis. In fact, I beat Chuck so badly that his wife gave me HM2 Fly. How thoughtful! If only I had a flying type to learn it. So yeah, I fly back to Olivine where I can heal up Ampharos in the lighthouse, leading to a showdown with the Steel Trainer Jasmine. Jasmine has a team of 2 Magnemite and a Steelix, which could be very dangerous for my team. My strategy is to teach Flamethrower to Scramble and boost it with Charcoal to burn through the Magnemite. Then for Steelix, I'm swapping Man Ray back into the party and hoping he can take care of business with Stab Surf. And that's exactly what happened. With the Mineral Badge in hand, I can head to the next challenge at the Lake of Rage. The Lake of Rage is where I can also find my next possible Pokemon, a sickly looking Gyarados that I am able to catch and name Mushu.
I am the powerful, the pleasurable, the indestructible Mushu.
I then help Lance take out some rockets, and Sparks learns Ancient Power, causing him to evolve into Yanmega. Next up is a tough gym battle with Price's ice Pokemon. I sub in Mushu and Man Ray both for this one, since we need to resist the ice moves as best as possible. The good news is they are enough to do the job, as Mushu can use Bite and Dragon Rage to take down both Seal and Dugong, while Man Ray can take down Piloswine with Surf. There was a close call with Scramble though, since I forgot that Dugong had a Rest Sleep Talk combo. I level up a bit more on my way to investigate some radio shenanigans in Goldenrod, which results in Aku Aku becoming a Zatu Zatu. Nice. As I'm trying to thwart a terrorist attack, Iceman decides it's a good time to challenge me to another battle. But I was a little over-leveled for him at this point, since I had the cap set to 41 for the next gym. The only real threat was his now fully evolved Feraligatr, but Scramble could charm him to allow Dandy to withstand an Ice Fang and one-hit him with Solar Beam. We can now return to our regularly scheduled terrorist thwarting. Afterward, I can head to Blackthorn, where the 8th and final Johto gym awaits, just beyond the ice path. If this were Gen 6 or later, Scramble would likely annihilate Claire's team, but sadly, the Fairy type does not exist in this game. That means Dragon types could be a tough out, and I am sure to go into my battle at Blackthorn with my team fully leveled to the cap of 41. Claire goes with Gyarados to start, and I send out Dandy, so I can set up a Leech Seed and Poison Powder, while taking a couple Dragon Rages in the process. I then switch to Mega Drain, and between that move and Leech Seed, I'm able to restore Dandy's health while slowly whittling away at my foe, eventually scoring a knockout. A pair of Dragonair are next, so I switch into Mushu, whose Ice Fang is enough to power through the dragons despite being paralyzed. Now is the hard part, Kingdra. I go into Aku Aku for a me first, hoping Kingdra will use a dragon move. However, he both outspeeds and hits a powerful Hydro Pump. I'm pretty worried about switching in any other Pokemon at this point, so I go back to Mushu and unfortunately see my shiny Pokemon go down to a Dragon Pulse. This does allow me to go into Dandy unscathed though, to set up a Leech Seed once again. Dragon Pulse deals good damage, so I pull back Dandy and send Scramble out. Scramble yawns as Kingdra smokescreens. I take another Hydro Pump for big damage, but get some back from Leech Seed. Kingdra then falls asleep and I get her down to the red, but of course Claire uses a full restore. I continue with my same strategy though, and Yawn, Leech Seed, and Extrasensory end up being enough to take out the Dragon Water type, and earn me the Rising badge from Claire. Well, after a visit to the Dragon's Den, that is. As I attempt to release Mushu, the game gives me a message saying Mushu is worried about me and came back. I'm assuming this has to do with the HM moves he knows, so I just decided to keep him around as an HM only Pokemon, aka Zombie Mushu. Okay, next up is probably the most frustrating part of the game. I have to face the 5 Kimono girls and their evolutions back to back in separate battles. This took me a ton of attempts, and it took leveling my team up to 49 to get the job done. That's just 2 levels below the new level cap of the champion Lance. As you can see, I went with Sparks as my lead. My thinking here is that he had a few super effective moves and high speed, as well as U-turn to get a quick pivot. Most of the battles go alright, but Jolteon was a huge hurdle. I ultimately had to use Dandy, who wasn't weak to electric moves because of its grass typing, to set up Leech Seed and Poison Powder, which required some luck because of Jolteon's double team. After finally clearing that hurdle, I'm able to defeat Vaporeon and finally take a deep breath. I swear that was about 20 attempts overall at increasing levels. I can now encounter Ho-Oh, and I catch it with a Master Ball despite the fact that I'm not allowing the use of legendary Pokemon in the run. Which kind of sucks because Ho-Oh is an awesome fire flying Pokemon that would definitely be great to have on my team. A Pokemon I can use though is Gligar, and I catch one south of Blackthorn. I have to name her Liger.
What's a liger?
It's pretty much my favorite animal. It's like a lion and a tiger mixed. Bred for its skills and magic.
And once I evolve it into Gliscor, she will indeed be pretty much my favorite Pokemon of this run. Liger has an adamant nature to increase attack and lower special attack, and that's just fine with me. I can now take my first steps back onto Kanto as I approach the Indigo Plateau along Victory Road. On the way, I find and catch a Doduo, which I name Ghidorah. And the name would make so much more sense if I had found a male Dodrio instead of a female Doduo, but hey, what can you do? Ghidorah's impish nature gives her increased defense and lowered special attack, but she's going to ultimately be outclassed by Scramble and chill in the PC anyway. Just before emerging from Victory Road, Iceman makes his final appearance to challenge me yet again. I heavily outlevel him still, so this battle is very easy, with Dandy taking out his biggest threat for Alligator while Scramble pretty much demolished everything else, except for Kadabra, which Yanmega is able to take out with a U-turn, and Haunter, which Crobat defeats with Bite. I guess Iceman was too cool for school. I can now reach the Indigo Plateau and make some preparations for the Elite Four. I then focus on leveling up Liger while holding a Razor Fang that I was able to summon to my bag and get her to evolve. With my team at level 50 across the board, I enter to face Will. I'll note here that the level cap is 51 for Lance's best Dragonite, which is still illegal by the way, but most of the Elite Four's Pokemon are lower than this, so I added an additional challenge and refused to heal in between battles. Will is up first, and his Psychic team gets to see why I had such high praise for Liger, as I can set up with Swords Dance and sweep through his whole team with Night Slash for an easy victory. Next is Koga, who graduated from Poison-type Gym Leader to Poison-type Elite Four member. Unfortunately for him, he has no answer for Scramble, whose combination of charcoal-boosted Flamethrower and Extrasensory tears through his team with relative ease. Bruno is mad at me for not talking about him in the last video, so he puts up more of a fight this time around. Crobat takes out Hitmontop, setting up Dandy and Onix next, and Dandy gets a 4 times effective Giga Drain off to take that round. I select Scramble next versus Hitmonlee, and I'm able to use a couple extra sensories to take him down despite failing in my prediction of a healing item in the process. I keep Scramble out for Hitmonchan though, and it's more of the same. Here's where things get a little more tense. Machamp comes out, and I use Dandy to set up Leech Seed, which has proven to be a very solid strategy to this point. But after a Rock Slide, I know I have to switch and opt for Liger next. Liger gets the freeze on an Ice Fang, allowing me to set up with Swords Dance while Leech Seed heals and finish Machamp off with a powerful Ice Fang for the win. This brings me to the scariest opponent of all, Karen. Karen's specialty is Dark type, and the bad news for her is that Liger has a lethal combination of Swords Dance and X-Scissor. Mix this with Ice Fang for Vileplume and Murkrow, and Night Slash for Gengar, and it's enough to send Karen off asking to speak to my manager. The champion awaits. The Dragon Trainer Lance is intimidating, literally, as his Gyarados leads and cuts Sparks' attack. I use a couple of double teams to try and buy some time, but ultimately he falls after just a single ancient power. Aku Aku comes in next, and my Me First attempts just lead to Flail for some reason, and eventually Gyarados proves to be too much for my Xatu and drops her with an Ice Fang. I'm down 2 Pokemon, but Aku Aku's Future Sight attack comes through to at least take Gyarados down with her. I decide to send in Liger, and Lance chooses Aerodactyl. He stops my first Swords Dance attempt with a flinching Rock Slide, but Liger can get the next one off successfully. After falling to just 15 HP, Liger can hit back hard with Ice Fang and get the KO. Now buffed from Swords Dance, Liger can outspeed Lance's 3 illegal Dragonites and one-hit each of them with 4 times effective Ice Fang. Charizard is up next, and I fear Liger won't win that one, so I go to my starter Bruce, who can hit a Confuse Ray, followed by Cross Poison, forcing Lance to heal. That's no problem though, as the next one is a critical hit to take out the very much not a dragon for some reason Pokemon, and earn me the title of champion. Even with the loss of 2 Pokemon, this feels like quite the accomplishment. But any fan of the Johto games knows there's more to be done. I can now visit the entirety of the Kanto region for 8 additional badges and a true championship showdown. But here's the thing, all the gym leaders are inferior to the 5 battles I just went through, with the notable exception of Blue. I'm already over what the level cap would be for them, so I decide to raise my team to level 55 before I take on the 8 OG gym leaders. Why 55? Well, remember when I bought that Dratini from the Goldenrod Game Corner? I can legally evolve her into Dragonair and then at level 55 into Dragonite, giving me a powerful replacement team member for this post-game run. First up is Lieutenant Surge, who I challenge with just a team of 5 since I need to use Cut to get to the gym. But don't worry, I only need 1 Pokemon for this gym. Actually, I only need 1 Pokemon for each of the first 7 gyms, and since it's the post-game, why don't we just hit you with a Spark Notes version? Liger's immunity to electricity allows me to easily sweep Surge for the Thunder Badge. This leads me to travel north to Saffron, stopping to catch a Murkrow before challenging Sabrina's Psychic Gym. I name him Raven because he's a bird with dark abilities.
Pretty clever, huh? You're a genius.
Raven has a neutral, docile nature, and I use my final evolution item, a Duskstone, to evolve him into Honchkrow. This gives us a Pokemon immune to a gym leader's specialty in back-to-back battles, as Raven easily handles Sabrina's team. The next domino is Erica, whose grass and poison heavy team falls to Scramble's flamethrower and extrasensory attacks. We choose not to mess with a good thing and use the same strategy against Koga's daughter and successor, Janine, to secure our 12th badge total. I then have to delay my challenges for some annoying post-game story content, but when I pick back up in the Cerulean Gym, Misty makes the critical mistake of allowing Dragonite to set up with Dragon Dance and then power through her Water-type team. With one of Ash's travel buddies down, I can now target another in Brock and his Rock-type team. Literally his whole team is 4 times weak to Grass though, so Dandy has a chance to shine here and earn us the Boulder Badge. While in Pewter, I revive Aerodactyl from the old Amber I mentioned at the beginning of the video to secure our final Pokemon. I name him Oliver because he's an Aerodactyl, and anyway, here's this clip of Oliver Queen as the Flash because Aerodactyl is also super fast.
You have failed this city.
Pretty sure that's not your line.
See, it makes sense. Oliver's perfect at this time of the run, using the Rock Slide move given to us by Brock to defeat Blaine's Fire-type gym with an incredible lucky crit to take down Rapidash while having just 20 HP. Phew, almost had to use a second Pokemon that time. Can you imagine? Well, 15 badges isn't enough, so I take on the only decent test in Kanto and take on Blue in the Viridian City Gym. He has no specialty and sends out Executor to start, and I counter with Liger as my lead. An X-Scissor almost does the trick, but I'm fine with that as he just uses Trick Room and burns a full restore before falling to a higher roll X-Scissor. There's no obvious counter to his Gyarados, so I just go with Dandy and hit a Giga Drain for minimal damage. I decide to pivot to Leech Seed, but first get hit to just 12 HP by a 4 times effective Ice Fang. Dandy did his job, so I go into Scramble next, who tanks an Ice Fang pretty well before healing with the benefit of Leech Seed. I then tame the beast with Charm, before attacking with Extra Sensory. Again, mispredicting a heal, but Leech Seed still does the job as alternate Gary Oaks Gyarados faints. Blue is kind enough to send out Rhydon next and allow Dandy to heal back up with a 4 times effective Giga Drain. Next, Arcanine and Oliver square off, though I misplayed here forgetting about Arcanine's Intimidate. That misplay wasn't critical though, as Oliver withstands a Flare Blitz and gets the knockout with 2 Rock Slides. He's on to Machamp now, and I decide my best course of action is to weaken his attack with Scramble's Charm. This works as Scramble can take 2 Stone Edge attacks while dropping Machamp's attack 4 stages. I then switch Bruce in, but he's immediately paralyzed by Thunder Punch, and hit with a Stone Edge before getting a Confuse Ray off. Machamp breaks through Confusion with Stone Edge, and Bruce is fully paralyzed, so I have to make a switch to Dova. We decide we've had enough of Machamp, so Dova powers up with a couple Dragon Dances and somehow survives Confusion damage and Dynamic Punches on just 6 HP. I debated rolling the dice here, but Dova is too important for what's ahead. So Dandy comes out, tanks a Thunder Punch, and implements our trusty Leech Seed. Then with Machamp weakened, Dandy can slowly take him down while healing with Leech Seed and Giga Drain. Eventually, I decide to end things with a Solar Beam, breaking through Confusion twice. That leaves just Pidgeot, and I have a solid counter in Oliver, who survives a scary mirror move Rock Slide to secure us the win, the Earth Badge, and a date with Destiny. After collecting all 16 gym badges, Professor Oak asks us to meet him in his lab, where he tells us we can now access Mount Silver. The mountain summit is where we will find the greatest challenge in Pokemon, Red. Now, this already difficult challenge was made worse by the need to use Rock Climb to reach the summit. None of my active party members can learn it, so I have to go into battle with only 5 usable Pokemon. I had anticipated matching levels with his party Pokemon, but since I'm down 1 to start, I think it's only fair I level all 5 of mine to match his Pikachu's level 88. With my trusted team of Liger, Dova, Dandy, Bruce, and Scramble, I enter the final battle. This battle was no joke. Though it was actually easier than the Kimono Girls battles, it still took me multiple attempts to reach what you're seeing on screen. He of course leads with Pikachu, and I go with Liger for the immunity to Electric. I use Swords Dance while Red misses a super effective Iron Tail. Since we got the first one off for free, I go for a second Swords Dance, and our luck fades as Pikachu's Iron Tail hits this time. Liger takes it pretty well though, so I say YOLO and go for the third Swords Dance, and maybe our luck hasn't faded so much because he misses another Iron Tail. Fully powered up, I can now go on the offensive and hope for a sweep, dropping Pikachu with a Night Slash. Now, I was aware of Liger's 4 times weakness to Ice, but I knew I had to try and sweep at max attack, so I leave her in against Lapras. Lapras is an incredible tank though, and survives the Night Slash in the red before hitting a Brine that did additional damage since Liger had less than half health, and finished her off. I know he'll heal Lapras next, so I send out Dandy to go for the free Leech Seed. My team is not built for battling Ice types, with 3/5 of them being 4 times weak. So I get Dandy out of there, and bring Scramble right into a critical hit Blizzard that I had forgotten was 100% accurate in the hail, essentially making this battle the equivalent of Groudon versus Kyogre in the middle of the ocean. Scramble is lost, and down to just 3 Pokemon, I send out the Bat Signal for Bruce. I risk the Confuse Ray first, hoping to avoid powerful ice moves, and it proves effective as Bruce can take Lapras down with a couple cross poisons aided by Leech Seed and Confusion damage. Snorlax is coming next, so I switch back to Dandy to get my usual strategy in place. Leech Seed is successful, but Snorlax also knows Blizzard and takes out Dandy. Fearing another Blizzard, I avoid sending out Dova and opt again for Bruce in my Confuse Ray strat. This is crucial, because even though Snorlax is hit with Leech Seed and Poison, Confusion almost assuredly prevents him from being able to rest, which would have spelled certain doom. Instead, Snorlax gets damaged by Bruce's attack, Confusion, Leech Seed, Hail, and Poison all in one turn to give us the edge in that round. I can't say I've ever seen that before. Blastoise is Red's next choice, and knowing Blizzard is still in play, I keep Bruce in battle. Confusion cross Poison comes through clutch again though, getting him down to a sliver of health before Bruce manages to survive Blizzard and watch Blastoise fall to hail damage. With Red down to just Charizard and Venusaur, I know my best bet is to bring out Dova. Charizard does serious damage with Dragon Pulse. That might have had a chance if it was actually a Dragon type. And Dova's Aqua Tail comes up just short. I know Red will heal here though, giving me the window I need for Dragon Dance. Now outspeeding and hitting harder, Dova can eliminate Charizard with Aqua Tail, giving us the numbers for the first time all battle. Not wanting to risk the battle at this point, I unleash Dova's full power with Outrage to one-hit Venusaur, defeat Red, and officially end this challenge as the undisputed champion of both Kanto and Johto. This was a tough challenge run for sure, but it did give me access to a fair amount of Pokemon, and in particular a bunch that have some cool evolutionary lines. It took the might of a pseudo-legendary Pokemon, but ending the final battle with my starter Bruce still alive was sweet poetry for me. This was exhausting, but no rest for the weary, as it's time to spin the wheel and set the stage for our next challenge that of course will take us to the Hoenn region, and specifically Pokemon Emerald. And it looks like after spinning the wheel of viable types that we've not used yet, it's going to be Steel type. This will be an interesting one, looking at the very few obtainable Steel Pokemon in Gen 3, and even fewer obtainable in just Emerald. However, we do have the option of a carryover starter Pokemon this time. The Pokemon we caught but did not use in this run are Donald, Edge, Grim, and Ghidorah. While not a Steel type yet, Grim does evolve into Scizor, so it's safe to say Grim will be making an appearance in some capacity next month as we take on Pokemon Emerald with only Steel type Pokemon. Thank you so much for watching this Pokemon challenge. As I mentioned in the opening, this is the second one we've put out on the channel, so if you missed our water types only run of Pokemon Leaf Green, you can check that one out here. You can also check out all the great podcast content on the channel, and if you are liking what you find, it would mean the world for you to subscribe. I'm gearing up for some big moves in Season 3 of Waiting in the Sky, including the potential for even more video exclusive content. You can also find us on social media and wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts. See you next time.